Daniel was just 10 years old, a typical fourth grader who loved soccer and reading adventure books. Most afternoons after school, the house was quiet. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, ran a small grocery store in Millbrook, Connecticut. They worked long hours to make sure Daniel had everything he needed. The school bus dropped Daniel off at 3 p.m., but his parents wouldn't be home until about 6 p.m. "I hate being alone every day," Daniel would sometimes say. "We're sorry, Daniel," his mom, Mrs. Johnson, would say with a gentle smile. "It's just a few hours, but we need to work so we can afford your school and other things." Daniel understood, but he often wished his parents could spend more time with him. One evening, his mom came up with a solution. "Daniel," she said, "our neighbor, Sarah, has agreed to watch you until we get home. She's very nice and you'll be safe with her." Sarah was in her late 20s, always cheerful, and lived just down the street. She was kind to Daniel, often giving him small treats when they crossed paths. Trusting Sarah, Daniel's parents thought the arrangement would work out. No more of the killing than this? He was suddenly curious. The next day, Daniel started spending his afternoons at Sarah's house. Her home was cozy, and she always greeted him with a smile. "Come in, Daniel, you must be hungry. How was school today?" she would ask, offering him food. At first, Daniel was shy, but soon he felt comfortable with her. She let him watch cartoons, played games with him, and even gave him a shiny new soccer ball. However, as time went on, something about Sarah's behavior started to feel off. One afternoon, after Daniel finished his homework, Sarah sat beside him with a strange look on her face. "Daniel, I want us to play a special game," she said softly. "It's just for us. You can't tell anyone about it, okay?" Daniel was confused. He trusted Sarah, and she had always been kind, so he didn't think much of it. But as the game progressed, he started to feel uneasy. Sarah asked him to do things that didn't feel right. Her requests were confusing, and even though Daniel didn't like it, he didn't know how to stop her. "Don't worry, you'll enjoy this soon," she said, trying to reassure him. The feeling of dread grew stronger every time the school bus dropped him off. Sarah would give him snacks, then retreat to her bedroom, returning in revealing clothes, asking him to do more things that made him uncomfortable. Daniel felt trapped, but he didn't know how to escape. One afternoon, Daniel found himself walking slower as he approached Sarah's house, wishing he could turn around and run home, but he knew his parents wouldn't be there. When Sarah opened the door and smiled at him, he forced himself to smile back, even though his heart felt heavy with dread. That night, Daniel lay in bed, unable to shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The unease lingered, and he couldn't explain why he felt so uncomfortable. He couldn't talk to his parents yet, and he didn't know how to make it stop. The next day, during lunch at school, Daniel's teacher, Mrs. Davis, noticed that he was quieter than usual. "Daniel, you seem distracted. Is something bothering you?" she asked, concerned. Daniel quickly nodded, not wanting to talk about it. "I'm fine," he lied. But deep down, Daniel knew he wasn't fine. He couldn't shake the fear that something wasn't right. That evening, as he lay in bed, he realized he had to find a way to speak up. But how? The next day, during lunch at school, Mrs. Davis found Daniel sitting alone. She sat down beside him and spoke softly. "Daniel, you seem really quiet lately. Is something bothering you?" she asked. Daniel hesitated, then glanced around the cafeteria, making sure no one could hear. In a whisper, he said, "Sarah does things I don't like. I'm scared." Mrs. Davis's expression immediately changed. She placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Thank you for telling me, Daniel. You're very brave. I'm going to help." True to her word, Mrs. Davis reported the situation to the school counselor, who contacted Child Protective Services. That evening, a social worker came to visit Daniel's home and explain the situation to his parents. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson were devastated and heartbroken by what Daniel had endured. They hugged him tightly, apologizing for not realizing what had been happening. Sarah was arrested and faced legal consequences for her actions. Daniel's parents made some significant changes. They rearranged their work schedules so one of them could always be home when Daniel returned from school. They also enrolled him in therapy to help him process what had happened. At first, Daniel wasn't sure he could do it. He had never spoken in front of a crowd before, and the thought of sharing his personal story was intimidating. But after talking it through with his parents, he realized that speaking out could help others feel less alone. It might even inspire someone else to come forward, just like he had. He decided to share his story at a school assembly. "Hi, I'm Daniel," he said. His voice steady, but quiet at first. "I want to talk about something that happened to me, and I want you all to know that if something ever happens to you, you can speak up. It's okay to tell someone if you feel scared, and it's not your fault." He shared a bit about his journey, how he had felt afraid, how he had struggled to speak out, and how he finally found the courage to tell an adult who could help. He talked about how important it was to have people in your life who support you, no matter what.
When your worst allergies attack, fight back with Claritin. Get fast, power...
Ring doorbell cameras were supposed to make us feel safer, but sometimes they capture the exact reason why we should be terrified. This woman was just minding her own business at home when she heard the motion sensor chime. Someone was at the door. No big deal, right? She got up and started walking while checking the app and watching a man get closer to her door. She figured he was probably just trying to deliver something, but the second she stepped out, she realized just how wrong she was. This is what happened next. Some sneaky video editing or bad camera quality, because let's be real, Ring doorbells aren't exactly IMAX level, but something feels off about this. The way the chair moves just before the figure fades in, and the way the cup crashes right as it disappears. If this was edited, they deserve an award for it. And speaking of camera quality, if this was just a pixelated mess, how the hell did that guy go from the front door to the back garden in a blink? She even sits in the same chair to check things out. But the mystery man? Gone. A spirit hell-bent on messing with the living. Or are we just being played? There's no real way to tell, so we just leave it up to you to decide. Number 6. Rejects owner. Moving into a new house is always a gamble. Will the plumbing work? Are the neighbours cool? And, oh yeah, is the place haunted? For Christopher Aaron 9, that last one wasn't even a thought until things started happening. Strange noises became part of daily life. But one day, Chris decided to hit record, and his daughter's play kitchen stole the entire horror show. Take a look.
If you were here, if there's anybody here. Anybody in here? open the other door? Can you open the other oven door? Will you open the other door? Thank you. Now I know you're here.
At first, everything looks normal. Chris pans across his daughter's room, showing a toy oven with both of the tiny doors shut tight. Then, we can hear a tap from the other room.
Anybody in here? I heard somebody somewhere.
So he walks away to check it out, but finds nothing. It's only when he comes back to his daughter's room that he spots something pretty weird. One of the oven doors is wide open.
Alright, now I heard the cat's downstairs. It wasn't her.
Coincidence? Faulty hinges?
I guess that's my son.
He gets right up close, proving there are no strings, no magnets, nothing weird attached. So, like a guy who's clearly never seen a horror movie, he straight up asks the ghost to open the other door. And guess what? It does, right in front of the camera.
Now I know you're here.
At this point, even his cat starts acting up, sniffing around the oven like it just found the gates of hell. But Chris, he isn't done tempting fate. He heads downstairs to investigate another noise and, feeling a little cocky, calls out to whatever's messing with him. "Give me something else. Anything," he said. Big mistake.
Here we go. Okay, you're splitting it into two.
Give me something else. Anything.
Start with, you'll collect our bus from demolitions. You're the perimeter team.
Oh.
It's going to LSIA.
Okay.
Put up some smoke in a nice crowded public place.
Are you trying to hurt me? Or are you just trying to scare me? Because I'm not scared of you. I find this really interesting.
The officer's driving, the transporter's in the back playing inmate.
Do something else.
Do their job, you'll go in place of the schedule.
Or show yourself or something.
The difference. This operation's
I want to see you. I want to know what you look like.
So keep your heads down. Got it? Okay, get to work.
Boom. A broom crashes to the ground behind him, and right after, a low, guttural growl rumbles through the house.
Do something else.
Now, I don't know about you, but that's my cue to drop the phone and move out. Chris nervously laughs it off, which, yeah, bad idea, because just when he thinks it's over, the grand finale kicks in.
Are you a kid? You're an older person? Come on, you gonna give me something else? Anything else? I don't care what it is.
A heavy-ass box of toys moves on its own, tipping over with no one even close to it. That's when Chris finally notes out and shuts the camera off. Now, he swears this footage is 100% raw, no edits, no fakery, and honestly, we didn't spot any cuts either. What's wild is that when the fakers pull stunts like this, they jerk the camera around before turning, so they can move stuff off screen. But Chris, smooth as hell. No sudden movements, no chance to fake anything. And if he was faking it, he'd have to be a damn contortionist to move that stuff from across the room. Oh, and And in case you're wondering, he doesn't live there anymore. So what do you think? Poltergeist? Some kind of glitch in the Matrix? Or was this just the house's way of saying, get out? Let us know in the comments.
Do something else.
Number 5. Shower thoughts.
All new 10, 12, 50. All of today's biggest hit is out right now.
Car pulled out right in front of me. I had a hairline fracture in my sternum. I had a concussion. I wasn't getting anywhere with.
Great skin starts here. From clearing to brightening, Hand & Stone delivers real results you can see in.
While taking a cute video of his pet rabbit, Chewy, this guy was mainly focusing on the bundle of fluff, but something else caught his attention. Something that made him question whether he and Chewy were the only ones in there.
Thought I'd make an update on the rabbit here. Got little Chewy just kind of chilling out here. Heck. I swear the shower curtain just moved. What the heck? That is weird. What the hell? Anyway, things happen in this house all the time. Alright, Chewy, I'm out of here. Say goodnight. Good night.
There are two things that make this clip even creepier and way harder to debunk. First off, no jump cuts. Nada. Zilch. Unless this guy is some kind of Hollywood level editor, there's no obvious way he could have snuck in a cheeky edit. Second, the simplicity. No dramatic reaction, no exaggerated ghost hunting theatrics, just a dude recording his rabbit, casually catching something straight up unexplainable in the background. And then there's his offhand comment.
Things happen in this house all the time.
Either he's pulling a genius double bluff, or he's just grown numb to the weirdness. Could it have been a breeze? Maybe. But explain why the shower curtain moved from inside the tub. There's no window, no draft. So what the hell just happened?
What the heck?
Number 4. Bad luck. Matt and his girlfriend were just chilling, looking for ways to kill time, so naturally, they picked the absolute worst idea possible, an Ouija session. Now, these two aren't exactly strangers to spooky stuff. They're big on randonauting, so messing with the unknown doesn't faze them.
Is there anybody here?
Or at least, didn't, until they started suspecting that something might have hitched a ride home from one of their late-night adventures. And that's when things got real.
Me and my girlfriend were messing around with the Ouija board. It spelled out the word car, and I instantly thought about my Randonaut videos. We stopped playing after that because it kind of started to freak us out a little bit. Our fingers are barely on it.
So much for that. The facility's on alert. Move for Rishkovsky. Go west along the walkway, taking a left.
It literally just spelled out car. Just later that night at around like 4 a.m. I got woken up by something really, really loud in the next room.
Just literally like 4 a.m. And I just got woken up by the loudest like crashing noise in my other room. What? What the fuck? My chair, my paintings, my keyboard? What?
Okay, no. I'm starting to think whatever was at those Randonaut locations followed me home.
He thought those late-night trips had something to do with the spirit spelling out the word car on the board.
It literally just spelled out car.
But the spookiest thing here is that they didn't close the session properly. After getting spooked, his girlfriend took her hands off the planchette, one of the things you really shouldn't do. It's fabled that not properly saying goodbye can open up a portal for spirits to stop by your home like it's their local bus station. He addressed this in the next video, and as you can imagine, things had gotten 10 times worse.
I'm sure my house is 100% haunted. People were telling me that me and my girlfriend didn't close the Ouija board properly in my last video, and that we basically invited spirits into my house. We did say goodbye to the board, but at this point we already had our hands off once, and apparently you can't take your hands off until the board says goodbye back to you. We tried to use the board again to see if we could properly close the session, but we weren't able to contact anyone, and the piece never moved. And then yesterday, this happened. Okay, something is not really sure, but I'm honestly getting sick and tired. Is there anybody here? If you're here, do something. No.
A lot of commenters theorised that whatever was tormenting Matt was actually latched onto him instead of the house, meaning he was in it for a long ride. Luckily for us, he recorded the whole thing.
So the other day I was home alone and I walked downstairs to go in my room. When I got to the bottom of the stairs, I saw a shadow-like figure sitting in one of the chairs. The shadow disappeared pretty quick, but the chair was still rocking, so I took my phone out and started recording. Again, I was home alone. There was nobody else at the house, so what you hear at the end scared me enough that I stayed at a friend's house that night. I swear to God, I just saw someone sitting in this chair, and now it's rocking a little bit. Hello? Is anybody here? What do you want?
The thing that makes these videos compelling is that the shaking seems to be out of genuine fear. Unless he's a really good actor, or that house is chilly as... It's just something about his demeanour just seems genuine. After sharing enough footage to his TikTok, people began reaching out and offering him advice. He did a few standard cleansing procedures like saging the house, and attempted to remain fearless when he felt the spirit nearby. And it worked. For a while. Until this happened.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me and try and give me tips on how to deal with the ghost, and I just want to give a big thank you because some of the things are helping. I did sage my house, and when the ghost is present, I'm trying to be as fearless as I can and tell the ghost to get out. The past couple days, a lot less things are happening, which is good. Normally, like 10 or more things happen every day, so there's a lot that happens off camera. But this clip here is one of the 2 things that happened yesterday, and that number's way lower than it used to be. I was just chilling, and this light just knocked over, just randomly. Are you still here? Do something if you're still here. Get out of my house, please. You are not welcome here. Get out of my house. Get out.
It's less intense, but something is still there. Soon, the strange happenings started to impact him outside of his own 4 walls. Whilst getting on with his shift at work, he noticed a strange hooded man acting erratically outside, and it soon escalated.
There's literally somebody outside, like, dragging a bag at my work. No, sorry, I'm just recording in case something happens.
I'm Danielle T, Chief Marketing Officer at YouTube, and I help guide the largest video platform on the planet. And my path started at the Wisconsin School of Business at UW-Madison. These are things people love.
When bad allergies attack, trust Claritin to keep you in the game.
I can't see his face. Where's he coming? He's literally running down to the door. breathing now. Can you just get... So yeah, I was working night shift at work, and the security cameras we have beep when it senses motion. It was pretty late at night, and I heard the beep go off, so I went to go look at the camera. Somebody was dragging a bag right beside the building. I was pretty creeped out, so I went and grabbed the work phone and called 911. By the time I was on the phone with them, the guy walked up the road a little bit, but then he started to come back towards the building. This is when I started recording. After the video ended, he ran out of sight of the camera. I never seen him again after that. A bunch of cops came, they told me to stay in the building, and they searched the area for him. They said inside his bag just had a bunch of clothes, but some of the clothes had some blood on them, I guess. Anyways, they're gonna take that in for investigation. They took the security camera footage, and of course they sent me home that night because they didn't find him. But yeah, that's all I know so far. Hope that's a good enough update.
So he never saw the guy again, but for some reason, he left a bag full of bloodstained clothes outside his work. It may not be connected to the ghostly happenings in the house, but regardless, Matt lives one terrifying life.
Do something if you're still here.
Number 3. Ring cam. This family have their Ring doorbell acting up, random motion alerts, but no one ever there. They tweak the sensitivity, set up trigger zones, even considered chucking the whole thing in the bin. But no, the notifications kept rolling in. Eventually, they just brushed it off as a glitch and stopped paying attention to it. That is, until their son got curious. Like any kid with a new app, he started checking every single notification, because why not? But this time, the footage showed something no one could explain. Take a look. What the hell did we just witness? At first glance, it looks like someone or something is drawing on the windshield. But here's the kicker. No hand, no fingers, no visible movement, just a perfectly drawn curve appearing out of nowhere. I mean, if it's just the wind, wouldn't the whole thing be a mess? Instead, we're looking at something way too precise to be random. But what do you think? A technical glitch causing all the notifications? Somehow the wind managed to draw a perfect arc, or a mischievous spirit getting into the winter spirit? Maybe something playing games with the family car? No idea. But one thing's for sure, I'd be selling that Ring camera immediately. Number 2. Memory White. You never know what you'll dig up on an excavation. Ancient relics, lost artifacts, or something that should have stayed buried. That's exactly what happened to this archaeologist in India when he stumbled upon a dark cave and noticed something moving inside. Knowing none of his team was supposed to be there, he pulled out his camera and captured something downright chilling. But here's where it gets even creepier. He doesn't remember any of this happening. The only proof that something was lurking in that cave, this footage. And just when you think it's weird enough, look again. The second that thing notices the camera, strange distortions ripple across the screen, almost like the air itself is shifting. A split second later, the archaeologist turns away, almost like he's under some kind of mind control. Memory wipe? alien influence, some freaky Asian magic messing with his head. Whatever it is, I'd be handing in my resignation immediately. But what do you think? Did this guy encounter something not of this world and have his memory erased to forget? Let us know in the comments. Number 1. Gut instincts. After a good few camping videos on the channel, you'd think there would be nothing new that could scare you about setting up a tent. But with so many old tales and legends, perhaps we lose sight of one of the scariest things of all. Brendan Explorers loves to pick up his van and drive off to new places, soaked in the culture and get comfy while still experiencing the outdoors. Soon after deciding on his camping spot, a small car parked in Dedham, Essex, he begins cooking his dinner and watching out the window. But as the sun began to set, the night wasn't the only darkness washing over the streets. Trusting his gut, he left to find somewhere that felt a little safer, and so he settled on one of the creepiest forest lanes in the world. What could possibly go wrong? Brendan got comfortable again and settled into bed. But as he slept, every camper's worst nightmare unfolded right outside his van. Luckily for Brendan, the person only seemed interested in whatever he had sitting in the front seat, rather than him, and after he shouted, the thief ran off. But if this is real, then Brendan Explorers should consider himself extremely lucky. The most interesting thing though is the fact that hours before the event took place, he already had a bad feeling about camping. Amazing how the vibes can be so off that everyone can sense it through a screen.
Ground team, when you get to the bus, the officer's driving, the transporter's in the back playing inmate. If the perimeter team do their job, you'll go in place of the scheduled bus. Hey! This operation's burned if you attract police attention, so keep your heads down. Got it? Okay, get to work.
All new 10-12-50. All of today's biggest hit is out right now.
Great skin starts here. From clearing to brightening, Hand & Stone delivers real...
Oh my god. Oh my...
Number 7. Sunset Podcast. Now, if you think you've seen scary, buckle up, because this is next level. Late one night, a trio of ghost hunters set out to find the Letchworth Village Cemetery. For those who don't know, Letchworth Village is an old, abandoned asylum in Stone Point, New York, and has been a breeding ground for paranormal activity for years. But these guys walked in like they were ready for anything, equipped with high stepped inside, things got seriously creepy. Check this out.
I know, man, so this doesn't feel right.
Footsteps. There's one in front of us.
While they were still busy debating where the scurrying noises and footsteps were coming from, something even creepier slipped onto their camera. Look closely. This science teacher had the scare of his life. He kept hearing this weird click closely, you can spot a shadow creeping in the corner of the class. It's tough to tell if it's a person or just a coat hanging up. Could it be one of his students pulling a fast one? Whatever it was, the shadow freaked him out so much that he bolted right out of the classroom. Do you think he got a visit from a ghost? Maybe the spirit of a mad scientist who's not done with experiments yet. Number 5. Ghost Children. One summer, renowned Brazilian paranormal investigator Uceles, famous for checking out haunted houses and helping freaked out families,